Kavitha. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. The sun is out, so I can't complain, given the rainy we've had so far.
I can see the beautiful sun rays behind you. By the way, sun rays are called, my name, Rashmi, means sun rays. So you have Rashmi behind you.
There you go. and in front.
Yes. So first of all, many congratulations on being listed in the top 100 expats by Delano in Luxembourg. We are very proud of you, and I wanted to take this moment to congratulate you and also share the celebration of it.
Thanks very much, and that's very kind. And a big thanks to Delano, of course, for creating this list and adding, and being part of it. And a big thank you to you for reaching out.
Well, it's our pleasure to have you from WICCI, and we are curious, and we have a few questions for you. Shall I go ahead?
Yeah, go on, shoot.
Okay, let me start with the Raagamalika program that you have on Radio ARA and that you host. Can you tell us what got you started and a bit more about the show and how you run it today?
Yeah, sure. So I should say it all started with a jingle because I went to record a jingle at the radio station for a music concert that we were promoting. And it sort of then put me in touch. I started, working together with Oscar. So he runs a radio show called Desi Vibes, and this has been going on for many years, longer than Raagamalika. So I went out. He asked me to come and help him on his program. So I used to go on the odd Sundays and be a co-host on Desi Vibes, and this was going on for a few years when Radio ARA approached us and asked if we would like to have two programs, one sort of focusing on classical traditional Indian music and folk music, and another one which is a lot more eclectic, Bollywood world music kind of program. So that's how Raagamalika came about. So as the word goes, it's a bouquet of ragas. So we want to present Indian music in its two forms, which is Hindustani and Carnatic music, add folk to it. And then I bring in my own dimensions. I bring in a lot of fusion music as well, because I'd like to sort of make it as contemporary as possible in terms of our listenership. And if you look at the listeners that we have, it's a global audience because thanks to the internet, we have this program sort of beamed around the world, every Sunday morning. So it's a very diverse type of audience, and it's, I'd like to sort of get everybody engaged. So obviously my program has been sort of taking shape over the last years in terms of bringing the audience and the listenership to what it is today. And of course, we'll keep improvising as it goes, onwards. It's a thematic type of program. That's what I like to do. So we try to showcase Indian music, Indian traditions, festivals, for example, and also linking it to the local communities, people that we work with. So there's a lot of fusion music as well that I sort of try to engage and sort of bring the local communities together where possible, make it a little bit more easier for people to understand. So that's sort of, and one of the other things I quite enjoy doing is actually speaking to artists, engaging with people. I've had a number of people on my show over the years, interesting conversations. So that's sort of adds another dimension to what the program brings.
So what's your favorite part of the program?
It's very difficult to pick a favorite because I love all of it. One is I love preparing for the show because one, it's taught me, I've learned so much, and you continue to learn as you prepare for your show. You put your playlist together, there are new things you learn about, my own country, our own traditions, mythology, you talk about it, history. I mean, there's so much that you learn. And then the interlink, how you can connect it with today's world, or, today's events, that sort of thing sort of brings in a link to what we do now. And so, the preparation, putting the list together, actually, going on air. I mean, every Sunday, I wait with anticipation as I go, as we click that button to go on air, I mean, because it's a new experience. And the most wonderful thing is the interaction with the audience. So it's a live show, and it's beamed live here from Luxembourg. It's a little bit early on a Sunday morning, but because there are people from different parts of the world joining in, it's different time zones, so you're able to connect to people. So yeah, I mean, and I think the interaction, the preparation, just the presentation, all of that makes, it's, I think it's very difficult to pick a favorite.
I understand what you mean when you say the way you interlink, because I myself have only begun to realize and appreciate how different aspects of the ancient Indian wisdom interlink, be it music, be it science, be it arts, and all of that coming together. And I think it's a treasure house. It's a never-ending treasure house, isn't it, that you dig into? And there are so many other people across the world, possibly, who appreciate around the same level in their silos, and you're bringing them together. So I can understand and imagine how interesting it is.
Yeah, and it also, and you're absolutely right, and it gives me a different perspective, in terms of how things work, and it's also a complete distraction at the weekend, very different to what I do during the week. So, and as I said, it's a learning process, and I feel I learn every week as I present a show. So that's great. It's nice to keep going that way.
I'm going to ask you for one or two specific moments on the show that's very memorable for you.
Like I said about picking a favorite, I mean, there are like so many, instances. I don't want to give, maybe I'll give you a few rather than limiting to one or two. I mean, it's because the show has been going on for the last 12 years now. So, there's lots of memories, anecdotes that you can talk to. I mean, right from, as I said, most of the memories come from my interaction with people. So it's about interviewing artists. And some of the artists that I've interviewed, they are really, the popular artists back in India. But when you speak to them, it's amazing, with the ease with which they talk, the knowledge. So I'll give you, examples of, having interviewed music legends like Bombay Jayashree, Unni Krishnan. They're all, renowned artists. I had an amazing program, presenting Lalgudi Jairam and his violin. And then we had his children, the brother and sister, Lalgudi Krishnan and Vijay, come here to Luxembourg, and they were on the show. I mean, amazing experience that was. We've got some young artists, a percussion group, which came and performed actually in the radio. We had them, with their drums and all that, talking and interacting with us.
Fantastic.
So that's amazing. And also, some interesting topics. We had a lady from Pondicherry, Chitra, who runs an organization there, a charitable organization, and amazing story that she had. Then had an interview with Rosa here in Luxembourg on sustainable fashion. How she, it's an important topic for her. So that was one thing. And the interesting thing about the program is actually it started on the 8th of March, which is International Women's Day.
Yes.
So I always, every year we do, I do something which is specific to bring, to talk about women and try and showcase, women's achievements in there. So I've been doing this over the years. So we've had, a lot of interesting women. I mean, including we had Madhu Malti come on my show with her workshop for me and the kids. I mean, we had an amazing interview there. We had, some really women in finance was one of the sort of topics I had in a year. I think it was a couple of years ago. And most recently, so this was last month, which was, again, Women's History Month. The sort of topic was women creatives. So We ran a show on, talking about women in the film, women filmmakers, women music composers. Then add a session on storytelling and performing arts, sort of to coincide with some storytelling sessions we had here in Luxembourg. And then to sign off on, in March, had a great chat with Frida and Carrie from Think Pink. And this was, and they're a foundation. They support women with breast cancer, and of course, not only breast cancer, but also, they do a lot in terms of research and contributing to research, cancer research. Yeah. And it was amazing, to talk to them. So I've rattled off, so many interesting sort of sessions and programs. So it's connected to music, and also, try and bring in some of the sort of recent events, to talk and sort of keep it relevant.
Yeah, sounds like you've made the best use of the time there, keeping it so fertile, so contemporary, and so relevant. Fantastic. And this sounds like a lot of work, but I know in your day job, you are the head of business development and client management at Continental Europe. Tell us a bit more of how your day on the other side is like.
Yeah, look, it's, I'd say, if you look at my typical day, it's typically about making connections, whether, and networking plays a large part of what I do. So it is connecting with teams internally, connecting with clients, prospects, the industry. So I'd say it's probably, the literally what my day looks like is actually, and I love it. I think it's the interaction with the people. And interestingly, so you could think, you could say, how this has transformed. Of course, the last year has been quite a challenge, because you would go from physical sort of networking events or meetings, and the whole thing has transformed to virtual meetings. You're operating on a different platform, so being adaptable, adjusting to that. So yeah, I guess like all of us, the transformation has to be made, and it has been, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. And my last question is about Luxembourg. How many years back did you come to Luxembourg? And when you look back, how has it changed for you as an expat? And I'm going to add a little bit that what is it that you love about Luxembourg the most?
Yeah, look, so this is a sort of an anniversary year, it looks like. So it's going to be 25 years in Luxembourg. So I'm going to say that without trying to give my age away. Yeah, so look, for me, Luxembourg, it's the sort of the diversity of nationalities and cultures. It's a melting pot, of different nationalities and cultures, and I think that is one of the most interesting thing that I really like about Luxembourg, and that also makes you sort of connect with people. They come from different backgrounds. You learn a lot from their backgrounds, their experiences. And it's it's an amazing thing, and it's the way the country sort of makes you feel welcome as a result of this openness and the ability to mix and speak to different people. So I think just the melting pot of nationalities and culture is one of those outstanding things for me, and what I probably most like of Luxembourg. And I think that's probably one of the things which stands out for me.
I couldn't agree with you more. I of course, it's just 3 years that I've been here, but I 100% agree with you, the openness that the Luxembourg, the country offers you. And though, of course, a lot of people don't know about Luxembourg before they come here. And when you come here, it looks small, but it's so rich, and there's so much to offer. When I mean rich, I'm not speaking in terms of money, but in terms of diversity and in terms of other aspects that can enhance your life. And I totally agree with you with what you've experienced. So thank you very much for sharing your experience with Raagamalika and your professional life and your life in Luxembourg. I hope people listening can take a point or two from your experiences and be inspired. So congratulations again. And yeah, Luxembourg is lucky to have you.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you, kind words. And thanks very much, for reaching out and doing this, and all the very best. And you should keep the good work going.
Thank you. Thank you from everybody at WICCI.